You know, I'm really passionate about making decisions that align with your faith and your values, especially when it comes to your family. And one area where that can feel really challenging right now is healthcare. Costs keep rising, and it's hard to feel confident that you're choosing the right path. That's why I wanted to share something I've been learning about called Liberty Health Share. It's not health insurance. It's a healthcare sharing ministry, which means you're joining a community of believers who come together to help carry one another's medical expenses. It's people living out the idea that we're stronger when we support each other and show up for one another. They offer programs for different stages of life and different budgets. So whether you're newly married, starting a family, or just looking for a better, more aligned approach, it's worth checking out. If you've been praying about a better way to navigate healthcare, this could be something to look into. You can learn more at libertyhealthshare.org. That's libertyhealthshare.org. Liberty Health Share, a force for good.
Good morning. I hope you've had a great week so far. You're listening to the Morning Five. Glad to have you with us today. I'm your host, Michael Ware, President and CEO of the Center for Christianity and Public Life. Today is Thursday, June 18th. I'll start with a reading from John 9. As he passed by, he saw a man blind from birth, and his disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Jesus answered, "It was not that this man sinned or his parents, but that the works of God might be displayed in him. We must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. Night is coming when no one can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world." Having said these things, he spit on the ground and made mud with the saliva. Then he anointed the man's eyes with the mud and said to him, "Go, wash in the pool of Siloam," which means sent. So he went and washed and came back seeing. The neighbors and those who had seen him before as a beggar were saying, "Is this not the man who used to sit and beg?" Some said, "It is he." Others said, "No, but he is like him." He kept saying, "I am the man." So they said to him, "Then how were your eyes opened?" He answered, "The man called Jesus made mud and anointed my eyes and said to me, 'Go to Siloam and wash.' So I went and washed and received my sight." They said to him, "Where is he?" He said, "I do not know." They brought to the Pharisees the man who had formerly been blind. Now it was a Sabbath day when Jesus made the mud and opened the eyes. So the Pharisees again asked him how he had received his sight. And he said to them, "He put mud on my eyes, and I washed, and I see." Some of the Pharisees said, "This man is not from God, for he does not keep the Sabbath." But others said, "How can a man who is a sinner do such signs?" And there was a division among them. So they said again to the blind man, "What do you say about him, since he has opened your eyes?" He said, "He is a prophet." May God bless the reading of his word. Friends, so glad to be with you today. Let's get to the news. First, a tropical storm with the potential to cause deadly flooding is currently moving across Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. The storm has strong winds and is expected to cause a 2 to 4 feet storm surge in coastal areas. Forecasts show between 5 to 10 inches of rain expected in the region from the storm, though amounts as high as 20 inches are possible in some areas. We're praying for folks in the southeast and for officials who have to respond to any emergency situations during the storm. Next up, the United States released terms of its deal with Iran yesterday, including a $300 billion plan to rebuild within Iran after the war. The New York Times reports that the agreement also involves an end to Israel's military operations in Lebanon, although Israel is not party to the peace deal. President Trump said yesterday that the deal involves a 60-day deadline to reach a second agreement on Iran's nuclear program. He said, quote, "If it doesn't get done in 60 days, that's all right. We'll go back to the bombing." Next, the Federal Reserve Board of Governors kept interest rates the same during a meeting yesterday at a range of 3.5% to 3.75%. The Fed has held rates steady for 4 meetings in a row. This was new Fed Chair Kevin Warsh's first meeting after being confirmed as chairman. President Trump has often called for decreasing interest rates since he took office again last year, but the Fed has been concerned that doing so would cause higher inflation, already a challenge after the president's tariffs and war with Iran. Finally, for quick updates, I'm recording this from Chicago, where later today, the Obama Presidential Center will have its opening ceremony. Former Presidents Clinton, George W. Bush, and Biden are expected to attend. The ceremony will begin with an invocation from my dear friend, Pastor Joel Hunter, and my old boss and colleague, Joshua Dubois. And I'll be there in the audience, taking it all in, singing Signed, Sealed, Delivered with Stevie Wonder. I mean, not like with him, but, we'll be, within a football field from one another. So for me, I'll be singing with him. For Stevie, I don't think he'll notice. But the ceremony takes place at 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 Central Time. According to the president, the former president, Barack Obama, who gave comments to White House and campaign alumni this evening, his speech will be something of a. He said he'll become he'll civic nerd out, and he said he'll be talking about the Constitution and democracy, and so if you tune in, be prepared for a civics lesson during this America's 250th year. All right, now let's get into our main story. We've told you about debates over new data centers around the U.S. This week about a New York bill to halt data center construction. Often, opponents point to environmental concerns like energy requirements and how much water these centers need to operate. But there's another reason that a rising number of Americans are opposed to new data centers near them, particularly massive data centers, and that's that they make a lot of noise. The New York Times published a feature on data center noise complaints and related lawsuits yesterday, focusing on 3 small cities where residents are trying to force the companies that own these centers to cut down on the noise they generate. Large data centers need massive industrial fans to prevent memory chips within their servers from melting due to how much heat they emit. Generators also make noise, keeping those fans running when a given data center needs more power than the electrical grid can supply. I'll read from the Times report. Today, nearly 40% of homes are within 5 miles of at least one operational data center, Pew found, and more of them are creeping closer. The humming of those cooling systems, the rumbling of the generators, and the whirring of fans can be heard and felt for hundreds of feet and even up to a mile away. The acoustic footprint is just orders of magnitude different, said Les Blomberg, executive director of the nonprofit Noise Pollution Clearinghouse. Some of the noise consists of infrasound, ultra-low frequency sound waves that fall below the threshold of human hearing. Instead of audibly hearing these extremely low frequencies, people physically feel them as pressure fluctuations, much like the deep vibration of a bass drum shaking your core at a concert, said Scott Hamilton, a member of the Acoustical Society of America and a consultant on data center projects. Some residents living near infrasound frequently report chronic sleep deprivation and insomnia, headaches, internal ear pressure, and anxiety. Now, many times the law does not help. Noise pollution is regulated at the local level through a thicket of zoning ordinances, which were originally written to address loud block parties, barking dogs, or construction noise, not the round-the-clock industrial hum of a data center. A video of a data center in Virginia went somewhat viral recently, demonstrating the around-the-clock noise that many of these buildings emit. We've included a link to that video in our show notes if you happen to want to experience it yourself. 3 different lawsuits covered by the New York Times' investigation shared similar complaints. Homeowners complain of a sharp depreciation of their property values once a data center is moved into the neighborhood, while also struggling in their daily lives with the constant noise. There is a constant noise of machinery running that is most noticeable at night when trying to sleep, said Stephanie Bartiromo, who lives near a data center. It sounds like a helicopter that never moves, and at times like a heavy-duty truck running constantly. One of the lawsuits targets Data One USA, a company that plans a 2.6 million square foot data center complex in New Jersey, which is expected to require 300 megawatts of power, which according to the report is enough to power a medium-sized city. Liquid cooling options are quieter but more expensive. Data centers aren't new. America has more than 3,000 of them, many constructed over the past decade. But more than 1,500 are in development, according to the Pew Research Center, intended to keep up with demand from new AI products. Let's stop there for today and go to the Lord together in prayer. Dear Father, always near us, may your name be treasured and loved. May your rule be completed in us. May your will be done here on earth in just the way it is done in heaven. Give us today the things we need today, and forgive us our sins and impositions on you, as we are forgiving all who in any way offend us. Please don't put us through trials, but deliver us from everything bad, because you are the one in charge, and you have all the power, and the glory too is all yours forever, which is just the way we want it. All right, friends, thank you for joining me today. As always, The Morning Five is brought to you in partnership with the That Sounds Fun Network, supported by the Center for Christianity and Public Life. If you'd like to learn more about our work at CCPL, you can visit ccpubliclife.org. Hope you have a tremendous Thursday, a wonderful weekend. We'll be back on Monday with The Morning Five.